The next strategy we learned about was finding common denominators. Remember, denominators are the numbers on the bottom of the fraction. They tell us what size pieces we have. Remember, if denominators are the same, then you just have to find the fraction that has more pieces. So for example, if I broke a graham cracker into 12 equal pieces, would you rather have 4 out of the 12 pieces or 9 out of the 12 pieces? It's easy to see that the number of pieces on top tells you which fraction is bigger. So for example, in this problem, 9/12 is greater than 4/12. How about this problem? Compare these fractions by finding common denominators. Write less than, greater than, or equal to. Remember, they call this an inequality. We have to say which one's bigger or smaller, or if they actually are equal. But we want common denominators. So I need to make this number the same as this number. Do you remember how we do that? You should have said finding equivalent fractions. I need to find a fraction that's equivalent to 5/6 that has the same denominator as a fraction I can find from 7/9. So I need to look for common multiples of 6 and 9 in order to multiply, or we could divide, to find equivalent fractions. So I'm going to label this out so I can make it nice and neat. 7/9. I know I need to multiply by something in order to get a fraction with the same denominator as this number. So underneath it, I'm going to write 5/6. I'm going to multiply by something different, hopefully, to get the same denominator in both fractions. So that way I can easily compare them. All right, this might take rolling your sixes and your nines in order to see which is in common. Let's start with nines. Hopefully you guys have those memorized. 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, 9 times 4, 9 times 5, 9 times 6, 9 times 7, and so on. Remember, multiples can go on forever. Let's roll my sixes. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. Okay, did you find any that are the same that we could multiply in order to get the same denominator? Well, I see that 54 and 54 are the same. So that means I could turn both of these denominators into 54ths, which sounds kind of crazy if we're still imagining breaking up that graham cracker. Now, that also makes sense why that works, because 9 times 6 and 6 times 9. So that's what I'm going to end up multiplying over here. So I will multiply 9 times 6 to get 54, and I know I will multiply 6 times 9 to get 54. Now that gives me my next clue. Whatever you do on the bottom, you have to do on the top, or it's not equal. We have to multiply by a fraction that equals 1 whole, because we know that any number times 1 equals that number. That's how we know these fractions are equals, because I multiplied by the same number. It keeps the proportions the same. So 7 times 6 is 42. So now I know 7/9 is equal to 42 54ths. Okay? Whatever I do on the bottom here, you have to do on the top, or it's not equal. Again, down below here, we have to multiply by a fraction that equals 1 whole. Otherwise, this won't be equal. 5 times 9 then is 45. Aha! Now that I have equal denominators, it's really easy to compare to see which is bigger. They both are broken into 54ths, so 45 is bigger than 42, so that means 5/6 is bigger then 7/9. So I can fill in. Remember, when you solve this, make sure you show your work for your teacher so they don't think that you cheated. So that's finding common denominators.